Hey everyone, my name's Walter, and we're back here to read some more posts and stories from Reddit. Today we're going to be talking about neckbeards, which has been a pretty popular subject lately. Neckbeards are nerdy men who generally have a very high opinion of themselves. They're often atheists and sometimes like to dress really classy. They often have a beard on their neck, but it's obviously not required. Hopefully you'll see by the end of the video, so let's just get started with more neckbeards from Reddit. We're going to be starting with posts from Reddit Just Neckbeard Things. Is it weird that I, 17 male, masturbate to every girl at school? I am a 17-year-old boy. I am very fat and horrendously ugly. I have never kissed a girl and I am a virgin. I have horrible social anxiety and I feel terror when I have to sit down in classes. Most guys pick on me and most girls have an ew attitude towards me. I have few friends and am never invited to parties, ever. I cannot drink alcohol either due to strict parents. I wank off to the thoughts/fantasies of having sex with most girls in my year group. After a typical day of school, I get on the bus, go home, get some junk food, lay in bed, and go to girls' Facebook profiles and jerk off to their pictures. I do this every day. Then I go on Reddit afterwards all day. Sometimes in school, I go to the toilets and wank off to the thought of these girls, the same girls who demean me. I am inferior, yet I can't help but wank to the thought of them. I think there are about 100 people in my year, 6th form, and probably 60 are girls. I am pretty sure I have wanked off to the pictures and thought of every single one of them. Sometimes in classes, if I am sat near the window, I will also fantasize and get boners. Although I like jerking it in the comfort of my own home, doing it in school toilets is more exciting. Girls of Reddit, would this creep you out if you knew someone was doing this to the thought of you? I do it all the time. I think it's how self-deprecating it is that makes it seem fake to me. But I guess there could be a humiliation fetish or something. I guess this kid has been posting this all over Reddit, not just in teenagers. He might just be trying to creep women out with the thought, though. Okay, I might get demonetized for talking about current events, but look at this. Incel Cole Carini blows his hands off with homemade bomb trying to kill hot cheerleaders. How did I miss this? This guy was already on probation for building a bomb, and he tried to tell the feds his lawnmower exploded on him. But there was evidence all over his grandma's tool shed, including a paper talking about Elliot Rodger. I think this might be worth its own video. Let me know if you'd like me to talk about that in more detail. And yes, he spelled Elliot's name wrong. They always do somehow. Hi everyone. I'd like to provide something meaningful and contemplative as an antidote to these turbulent and conflicted times. I wrote a book last summer in 2 days about my journey and thoughts as a gentleman. The title is called What Does It Mean to Be a Gentleman? I'd be more than humbled to share this part of my story and life with anyone interested in reading this. Please send me a message on Facebook Messenger if you'd like a free copy of my book. Thank you and wishing everyone blessings and peace. Gotta be honest, I would like some more details about that book, but my Google search didn't bring anything up. How sad. Had my first intercourse with a guy and he said he was turned off when I didn't bleed. He legit was expecting a bunch of blood and a big pop, and called me a slut when I said I fingered myself. I never would have imagined there are still people who think like that, lol. See, that's how these guys are. They're never satisfied. He got the very specific thing he wanted, sex with a virgin, and it wasn't what he expected, so he blamed her. Probably happens a lot, huh? Okay, let's get to today's story. This story is from Reddit Neckbeard Stories, and the other one. It's a cross post, but I guess the guy is a neckbeard, a nice guy, and a weeaboo all in one, so good content for my channel. My neckbeard romance. I dated a neckbeard/nice guy hybrid for over a year. Hear ye, my tale of woe. When I was in high school, I went through what was the worst breakup of my life. It devastated me, nearly ruined my GPA, and left me feeling like I'd never find love again. Gotta love those teenage emotions. Suffice to say, I was in a vulnerable position, and that position led me into the clutches of the most neckbeardy, nice guy weeb I have ever met to this day. For the purposes of this story, let's call him W. W was a friend I had met sophomore year and whom I went to church with. We weren't super close until after my breakup, when we started to flirt casually. W was a self-professed nice guy. He fancied himself the underdog of the world, and he and his nice guy/nerd boy friends were the moral backbone of society. He and the other nerds of this world were truly the oppressed population. Over the years, I've recognized that he truly felt morally superior to everyone else, but at the time, I just thought he was a good dude who really took to heart the issues of the world. I was in the depths of despair and itching for something to help, and W was perfect. Nice, sweet, so I thought, kinda cute. Yes, he was in the anime club, and yes, he did in fact have a strange obsession with Nintendo, but it was fine. I should have known, however, that things would get weird when he started to poke me in the stomach during one of our classes. Again, dumb high school shit. I would squeak in shock. He poked hard, and he would mutter, "That noise makes me a monster." What the fuck? What the fuck? At the time I thought it was a little weird, but whatever. Maybe he's just a little into weird anime. I wasn't deterred by his anime club friend group. They were all nice people, though they were to a T the textbook anime club. I wasn't deterred by the Naruto run that he would do around our high school campus. I wasn't deterred by the fact that prior to dating me, he had been interested in dating an 8th grader. We were 16. I wasn't even perturbed by the literal neckbeard that he was growing. I really should have known that something was off, though, on our first official date. We went to see Ex Machina, which I thought was an incredible film. If you haven't seen it, without spoiling it, the movie ends with the unlucky main character in a bit of a dire situation due to the actions of a female character. W did not like this and let me know by sobbing on our way home from the movie because, and I quote, "Nice guys always finish last." If you've seen the movie, you know what an absolutely fucked up take that is. I comforted him though, feeling like I was in a bit over my head, but I let it go. Oh wow, this is a really advanced case of a nice guy. Imagine crying about nice guys finishing last on a first date. How would you ever show your face in front of her again? Oh, that went pretty well, aside from that one minor hiccup. Dear reader, I should not have let it go. From that point on, we fell into a pattern where W would cry at the end of every single date. No goodbye kisses for me or whispered sweet nothings. No, W would sit in the car and cry about everything. How his friends in elementary school left him, how his current friends weren't loyal enough, how I was going to college and leaving him. It was a mess. But I was in too deep. He professed his love very early on, and I felt, as many young girls do, that he needed me. Ugh. It only got worse as I left for college at the end of that summer. I made a group of friends at college, and without fail, W would call me at every friend gathering and keep me on the phone for at least an hour, while he cried about not having his own friend group. Spoiler, he did in fact have his own friend group. I would be stuck on the phone comforting him instead of making memories my freshman year of college. As he got more comfortable around me in the relationship, I also began to notice some very disturbing things about him. PSA, this is fucking nasty. W left an odor around him, especially in areas he had been sitting in for a while. It smelled, and I'm not exaggerating, like straight shit. Like he had pooped right there. This was a mystery to me for a while. Was he not wiping? Did he just have an unfortunate body odor? What was going on? Well, my friends, what it turned out to be was that W did not shower until he absolutely had to, and on top of that, he suffered some intense bowel issues due to the fact that he ate entire bags of candy for meals frequently. During our relationship, there would be times where I had to literally beg him to shower, after sometimes more than a week or two of him avoiding it. I am a borderline obsessively clean person. This disgusted me, and I still didn't dump him. This theme was present all throughout his life, too, as he also once confessed to avoiding brushing his teeth for a year. Yes, his teeth looked the way you would imagine after something like that. We continued on this way for over a year. I withstood trials and tribulations. He frequently made references to his waifu. Joking? I thought so at the time, but nope. He divulged his weird fantasies to me. I'm still grossed out by them. I won't go into detail, but they involve some extreme manipulation of the female form into what would result in death outside of weird hentai. Less fun, he would sexually manipulate me often, begging and pleading for things I didn't want to do. Yikes. But how could I dump him? He was so nice. God, you do have to feel for this author. If most people look back at high school, they might cringe about how they acted. She probably just feels ashamed in retrospect of dating this guy. And he's fucking smothering too. He bound me with the chains of an imagined life for us. He told me we'd get married. He picked out names for our kids. When I confessed I didn't really love one of the names he'd picked out anymore, it had been a while since we'd discussed it, he got upset enough to cry. Towards the end of our relationship, he also started to feel guilt about the sexual things we had done, and told me he was going to our church leadership about it. People I had to go to church with and talk to every week. People who I wanted to respect me. I had no say in the discussion. It made me feel extreme anxiety about being in church. After starting my sophomore year, I'd finally had enough of his shit. I was getting to a point where I would feel physically repulsed when looking at him. I felt really lost. My friends started to understand how bad things really were. I felt I couldn't talk to my parents because they loved him, and I was scared to dump him because we went to church together. When I finally broke it off for good, which didn't happen until friends stepped in, he would call and leave me sobbing voice messages, and if I answered, he would repeat, I love you, trying to force me to say it back. When he finally seemed to realize it was over for good, he threatened to go to my parents and tell them I was sleeping around and had dumped him in order to go off the deep end. He also told similar stories to one of my best friends from home, trying to tell her to rein me in. None of these things were happening. I didn't have my first drink till after I was 21 and didn't attend a party or sleep with anyone my whole college career. He also shifted his entire personality after we broke up, I think in an attempt to become more attractive to me after the fact. He picked up skills and hobbies and fashion tastes that I had mentioned I liked in passing. He wore combat boots. He picked up photography. He tried to learn guitar. I would have encouraged his personal growth if it all hadn't been things that I had explicitly mentioned I liked during a relationship. Growing yourself is good, but this felt creepy. Additionally, I was kind of shunned in my church because of how nice of a guy everyone thought he was. How could you dump him? He's so nice. I felt like a pariah. I wanted to scream, if he's so nice, why don't you date him? This got better over time, but it still makes me upset. To this day, family members will tell me, I feel bad for W about what happened. He was so nice. It's been 5 fucking years. Yes, W was nice, but he also really hurt me. Please tell me he started showering before trying to learn guitar, because that's a much easier thing to learn that'll probably help him more in life. And that's mostly where our tale ends. Outside of seeing him at church every once in a while, all communication dropped off. He quickly began dating other girls. How do guys like this find women? And to this day, he's in a stable relationship with a girl who seems normal. I really hope that he has grown from the person he was, but sometimes I do just want to send her a message and ask if she's okay. I won't ever, don't worry, I just feel a strange kinship to her. If I had one bit of advice to any girls or women out there who might be in similar situations, you don't have to stay. Even if you think they need you, even if you've told them you'll get married, even if you are married, if someone makes you feel gross when you're around them, end it. Your happiness is worth more than that. Wow, that story was a real experience, wasn't it? I'm honestly not sure how this guy was finding relationships. Must explain how I had a girlfriend in high school, am I right? I find it weird how everyone still thought he was nice. It's pretty clear he was abusive if you listen to her story at all. He's either the biggest crybaby in the world, he's doing it purely for manipulation, or both. Let's just say both. Anyway, it's about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you have something to say about that very disgusting story or the post, let me hear about it in the comments. That's half the fun. If you liked the video and want more from me, consider subscribing so you see my new content. This is going to be a great summer, I hope. But now it's time to shout out my generous patrons, who are pretty important because the videos I put out this week got fucking demonetized. Levon, Chris Sturman, Invader Jill, Cody Smith, Hugo Hedden, Spoofs McJenkins, V stands for, Mason Alessander, who just upped his pledge, thank you, Elvis Needs Boats Bennett, Cho, Shay Parker, Mary Vinorsky, Louise Orozco, Spoonie the Rogue, Hunter Malcolm, Amanda Gillies, Chocobo Asylum, Jacob K, Camper Supreme, Rissa Demore, Knit1 Code 2, Roy, Lil Spoon, Shit for Brains, Jake Decker, Ms. Mayhem, Jubes, Regrettable Stitches, and Esperova. Thanks again, it's helping me out a lot. But so is just watching, of course. Next week we'll bring more Nice Guys and probably Cake Puncher Part 3. If you don't know what that is, hopefully you will soon. Have a great day, everyone, and never stay in a relationship if it's making you unhappy. Life's too short for that kind of garbage.